Welcome back to another episode of Harul podcast with your host Jake Stone. Today I'm sitting here with
Petra from 4th A.
Petra from 4A. Today we're going to talk about Moses and the Red Sea and what that means for us. First, what we're going to do is we're going to jump in. We got to remind ourselves of our first rule. Do you remember what our first rule is of the podcast? The first big rule of the podcast is no avem voie să vorbim română.
We can't speak Romanian.
We're not allowed to speak Romanian. This is an English podcast, which is a good challenge for our students in normal conversation. So let's dive into some rapid fire questions, okay? What day is it today?
Today is Friday.
Today is Friday. If today is Friday, what was yesterday?
Thursday.
Okay, and what 2 days are on the weekend?
2 days are on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, and then what is the first day of school in the week?
Monday.
Monday. Awesome. Okay, give me 3 movies that you really like. So not your 3 favorite movies, but 3 movies that you really like.
Wolfwalkers, Avengers, and another one. I really like Dr. House.
Dr. House, Wolfwalkers,
and
Avengers.
And the Avengers, yes.
Okay.
Dr.
What?
Mueller.
I don't know anything about the Avengers.
Yeah.
That's a gloomy. That was a gloomy. That was a joke.
Okay.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
I've only seen it one time though. Okay, we got a couple of our questions out of the way. Let's jump into our subject of the day. We're talking about Moses. An amazing story out of the book of Exodus in the Bible. If you haven't read it yet, I highly encourage you to check out the book of Exodus. Let's start off with, where did Moses come from?
From what I remember, he was Hebrew. He was from a Jewish family, but they were slaves because they lived in Egypt. They lived in Egypt because that was a highly populated zone, and they were slaves because the Egyptians didn't like the Jewish people, the Hebrew. They took them as slaves, and they and not really tortured. They kept them and made them do all the work.
Do you remember how many slaves they had?
I don't remember exact number, but I know they had over 10,000.
Well, it was way more than 10,000.
Way more than 10,000.
Or like close to 1 million.
Close to 1 million. They were a lot.
Let's go back real quick. Let's tap back into the why. So that with the Hebrews, there were so many of them. Just a little context behind this. There were so many of them that the Egyptians were scared. So they said, let us make them slaves. So by power and fear and might and being terrible people, they were able to enslave the Hebrews. And that is why that whole saga of history happened. Was the burning bush on fire, or was the fire on the bush?
Oh, it couldn't be that the burning bush. Okay, this is complicated.
Well, okay, stop. We're not gonna get complex, but this is what we call, not a tongue twister, but like a riddle, because nothing is on fire. Fire
is on things.
Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit to the plagues, the signs and wonders of God trying to speak, or I should say God speaking to Pharaoh. What do you think would be one of the worst plagues to experience, other than death of the firstborn son? That's pretty bad. Yeah. But what would have been, do you think, one of the worst plagues to have to experience?
It's the one with the water turning into blood. You can't drink anything. You're practically thirsty all the day. You can't do anything. And because you're in Egypt, it's literally full. The sun is shining over you. And it's really uncomfortable because you can't drink anything because it's literally blood. It's pure blood. It was either one of the I think it was from the last ones. It was the one with the boils and the blisters. That would be horrible because you can't do anything with those on. You can barely move. They were even on your here, like on your foot. It was everywhere. You couldn't do anything. It was horrible. It would be horrible to experience that.
A lot of people, even in history, have heard about the Red Sea splitting. And maybe that's a God thing. That's just a very interesting fact. A lot of people know about the Red Sea splitting. What do you think about the Red Sea splitting?
It's a really interesting fact because besides the fact that the sea is literally split in two, Just think about the mass of water that had to go away. The space, it had to be so big, so like approximately 50,000 people would have to go through.
500,000.
500,000, yes.
500 miliarde.
600.000.
It would have been close to a million because they said almost 800,000. Okay,
Yes.
but imagine. So for all of them to go through, so we're not talking just this small like 2 metri. We're talking like
really big.
like maybe even as wide as Lugoj is. What's fascinating about that whole thing too, with the sea splitting, is think about how tall it was, and scripture says that they walked through on dry ground. So not only did God split the sea, but the sand was dry ground. And then as soon as the Israelites were over, boom. They say there are some found hidden archaeological artifacts that of chariots and things like that they found in the Red Sea, but that might be a different conversation for a different day. Okay, so we talked about where did Moses come from? Why did Moses leave royalty? Was the burning bush on fire? Was it on fire? We talked about the plagues, him being in front of Pharaoh, the Israelites leaving, walking through the Red Sea on dry ground. They make an altar because God had saved them, and they continue on their journey. Now the journey gets a little bit darker for them. They spend the next 40 years or so in the wilderness because they can't seem to listen to what God says for them to do. What can we learn maybe just about the Exodus journey in the sense of leaving, being enslaved and leaving Egypt? What do you think we can learn from the story of Moses?
You can learn that God never leaves your side. Anything that happens in this world, He is always with you. Even though you go through dark times and really bad things, He's still with you. If you pray, if you still think He's there and He loves you and He is with you, then it's gonna be okay. Because he loves you and He takes care of you.
He does love us. He does take care of us. What would be a situation in your life? Do you have any examples of a situation in your life where you think or you believe that God was taking care of you?
I believe one time, like some time ago, He took care of me by taking care of something I love. We have an open closed door to get our cars in our front yard. My dad was just coming from work, and one of my cats got stuck in between the gates while it was closing, and I didn't know what to do. At first I thought he was meowing really hard, and I thought he was fighting one of the cats because we have a lot of stray cats in that region.
We got way too many cats here in Romania. We got to do something about that.
No.
That's a different conversation for a different day. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. I was the one that discovered him like that, and when I saw him, I bolted to the kitchen and I was like, Mom, Dad, the cat is stuck in between the doors. And that actually happened one more time with another cat. He didn't make it. But it was at the neighbor's gate. It wasn't my gate. It was the neighbor's gate.
That's why he didn't make it, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. The neighbor's gate.
Okay, so what was God showing you, though, in this moment? So we want to look at this as an illustration maybe of how God is taking care of you or took care of you.
I believe He tried to show me that He exists and that He takes care of us and that He helps us during hard times, because that was actually a hard time for me. 2 cats have died under my eyes. Like, the thing was that after I saw the cat, I went to my room and I started praying to God to keep him and to not make him die. And I believe that when God heard that, He decided to keep my cat alive and to leave him like this. And I still have him to this day. He's really cute. By the way, his name is Grigri.
Che?
Grigri.
Grigri.
His name is Grigri, yes.
Is that an English name?
Gray.
Oh,
it's
gray,
but 2 times because he's gray, dark gray stripes.
Okay.
Two colors of gray. That's why I call him like that.
So everything that you said is an interesting perspective. God takes care of us through taking care of things that we love. The one thing I would say too, though, is don't get too don't get too fixated on God's taking care of the things I love because He loves me. No, God loves you, and sometimes He's going to take care of things that we love. And when it comes to the story of Moses, I think our punchline that we can remember is God equips us to get through trials in our life. And Jesus tells us in the Gospels that you will have trials and tribulations. Fear not, but I have overcome the world. So God equips us. So the story of Moses, fascinating story, y'all. Petra, thank you for being here with us on Harul Podcasts. Thank you for joining the show, y'all. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow us on Facebook or check us out on our website, scoalaharul.com. We'll see you in the next episode.